The origin of love. How love started in human existence. Love simply is the unselfish, loyal, and benevolent concern for the good of another. Love is what makes humans stay in touch with each other lifelong, like husband and wife. First of all, let's start with sex. Nature wants animals to seek each other for sex to have babies so that species go on expanding. How are male and female attracted in order to copulate? Firstly, hormonal changes in the female around the time of ovulation trigger her fertility. To attract males, female dogs and cats, for example, release pheromones. Female chimpanzees and bonobos exhibit enormous red genital swellings. Next, the males become turned on and compete in some species to see who gets to mate. The female makes some sort of choice in most species and sex happens. And then, some months later, birth activates the caregiving system in the mother and the attachment system for the child. Now, males are not required anymore. He spends his time sniffing for more pheromones or scanning for more swellings. Again, he is ready to have sex with other females. How did human females come to hide all signs of ovulation and get men to fall in love with them and their children? When the first hominids split off from the ancestors of modern chimpanzees, their brains were no bigger than those of chimpanzees. But then, around 3 million years ago, something changed. Something in the environment made our brain larger with much higher intelligence. Females started giving birth to babies out of the uterus long before their brains were developed enough to control their bodies. In all other species, the brain is mostly complete inside the mother's womb and ready for service. However, in humans, brain growth continues for about 2 years after birth, followed by a slower but continuous increase in brain weight for another 20 years. Humans are the only creatures on Earth whose babies are helpless for years and heavily dependent on adult care for more than a decade. Given the enormous burden that is the human child, women can't do it on their own. Studies of hunter-gatherer societies show that mothers of young children cannot collect enough calories to keep themselves and their children alive. They rely on the large quantity of food as well as the protection provided by males in their peak years of productivity. So, the mating system evolved with strong and often enduring emotional bonds between men and women, B-role change, and between men and children. B-role change. And this is how men and women form relationships intended to last for years, marriage, that restricted their sexual behavior in some way, B-role change, and institutionalized their ties to children and to each other. This is how love originated, generation by generation.